Hello, my dear friends and students. This is lesson 2, the inner perception, extending your senses. And as you have, and we have had our session on this, you will be using this to help your daily practice. I will make a meditation here for you and lead you through one based on the information that we discussed in our tutorial. And I would encourage you to use this whenever you want, whenever you can. It will only help you. It will not set you backwards at all. It will only move you forwards. Inner perception is so much about listening and patience and listening to the voice of everything. So let's just talk for a moment about this. Let's put it back to ourselves for a minute in this way. So let's say you're with a group of friends and you're talking and you say something in such a way that is not fully true, or you've created a bit of a story to make the story more interesting, or you've sort of just twisted the truth a bit, etc. And the reason why I put it back to ourselves is because that's where we have to start. In all of this work, that's where we have to start. As your awareness grows, as your sense of truth refines, because that's what it will do, you will find that even the slightest disharmony that we create, whether it's through the words we use or don't use, or the slightly telling of the story that isn't quite right but just sounds better or makes us sound better, or draws attention to ourselves just because we want more attention, that you will feel that very deeply within yourself. And this is where humility and simplicity has to come in, and patience. And this is not something you will master in a short period of time. It's over many lifetimes. But here we are right now in this lifetime. And isn't this fantastic that you have all the opportunity now to take that on and to develop a greater sense of yourself about why you do what you do, why you need to say or react the way you do. And in that inner perception, the growth is exponential. This growth will cross all boundaries of your professional career. It will cross all boundaries of your relationships, whether you're married or just with friends and family. And it will free you from trying to be that which you aren't. It's liberating. It's scary simply because we have to really look at ourselves. But this whole lesson, this entire lesson, really does address that. It does start with what we think is outer perception, and we've discussed that, but you'll come across that again here in a moment in the visualization / meditation that I'm going to take you through. But as we go deeper into that, as you know from the lesson we did, it begins now to become inner perception. And so we go through the levels of the outer to the inner. But if we're really aware, we realize that the outer and the inner are the same. And I know that it may sound a bit contradictory for some people, but it's very true. It all depends on our ability to realize that the outer and the inner are just reflections of each other. How you perceive can only be developed by how your inner self is, the health of your inner self, the willingness to have honesty within your own being, and also, as I said before, simplicity, humility, and patience. So I'm going to take you through this perception meditation or visualization. The title exactly is Inner Perception, Extending Your Senses. And in this moment, you can sit or stand in your room. And I would like you now to turn your attention totally to your eyes, because this is where we start. We start with the external perception. And I want you to stand in your doorway or at the end of a room, and I want you to look into the room, starting off at your left, and slowly let your eyes roam around the room. Take in every object that you see until you have let your eyes wander all the way around the room. Now close your eyes and start to recall what you have seen. And if you become aware that you cannot remember, open your eyes and look at a particular object again. This will take some training and time, so you must be patient with yourself. Start over again, letting your eyes wander around the room, taking in every object. Then go back and with closed eyes again, recall each object in your mind's eye to the best of your ability. When you have accomplished this to your own satisfaction, find yourself a spot in your living room. And I'd like you now to sit in a chair with your feet placed flat on the floor. And now listen to your room. Take in all the sounds in your room. The ticking of the clock, outside noises, the furnace turning on and off, a refrigerator turning on and off, the electrical hum that happens with dimmer lights. There are so many sounds in our world now. Just allow yourself to listen. And then, my dear friend and student, listen to your heartbeat. If you cannot hear your heartbeat, touch your pulse and totally become aware of your own heartbeat. Then try to listen to your life force as if you slide behind your forehead into your heart chakra and listen to the humming sound within. A very faint, low-level noise inside yourself. And take a deep breath, exhale, and stand up. If you are in a room with no plants or flower pots, then go to a room that has one or some. And if you don't have any, I would encourage you to get just one plant or a flower pot. And I want you to look and touch and yes, talk to your plants. Greet your plants and try to receive what they need from you. Sense the well-being of your plants, or perhaps they are not well and need you. And what do they tell you? This is a perception that you will begin to realize that you can use or will happen when you're around people sometimes. It will be an automatic experience, oftentimes not one that you're looking for. And when this happens, as I will show you in a later lesson, this is when we take them into our hearts and minds and we ask for healing. And we ask God in the spirit world, with the power of our thoughts, requesting healing as intercessors, that these people will receive healing. But that is for another lesson. And if you do pick up on people's feelings, their emotional stability or lack thereof, their needs, their physicalities, and it is a spontaneous experience, we never approach the person and say it to them. We keep that within ourselves. We are grateful for the experience, and then we ask for healing for them. And now, another part of this exercise is test your fifth sense, or your sense of taste. And each day, if you can, or a few days this week, try to eat a different fruit or a different food that possibly is not within your usual diet. And I want you to slowly savor the fruit or the food and become aware of the differences in taste that you experience each time you are eating that fruit or that food. Try to chew it between 30 and 50 times if possible, so it doesn't have to be a large amount of the fruit or the food or whatever it is you're going to ingest. And do not get impatient, for patience starts with yourself, and patience will be the most important part of your development, and I can attest to that. I want to revisit for a moment the exercise or the moment when you are to feel your own life force, your heartbeat, and also the spirit force, the soul that is inside you. When you have a moment, sit again and revisit that particular portion. And I want you to sit once again, of course with your eyes closed in a comfortable chair, and taking a breath in and exhaling. And bring your palm up to your mid-chest, just over the heart or slightly above where we think the heart is. And I want you to feel deeply within yourself. Sense your inner being, your soul, your spirit and spirit consciousness. This, my friend, my dear student, this is what you truly are. And it should speak to you enough that you realize in this moment that as grateful as we are for our earthly pathway, the lives we lead, the bodies we have, the experiences, that they are passing, that you are eternal, like everybody else. And the gift today for you is the full realization that you are eternal, that every moment, whether in the body or when you cross over, allows space for you to grow, for you to be a better person, for you to become more loving and kind. This does not mean that you give up agency or discernment, but instead of reacting with possible vitriol or righteous indignation. You can sense and feel the truth, but still react in a compassionate way without compromising what you know is truth. You are an eternal being, and no one can change that. The gift you have in this life, although at many times, and I know this, does not always feel like a gift, are the gifts of free will, free choice, and free decision. And the underlying law, we'll say that word for a moment, of personal responsibility for the gift of free will, free choice, and free decision. So do not think too highly of yourself, and do not think too lowly of yourself. Consider this is a journey. We will all make mistakes, and we will all have opportunities to rise out of those mistakes. We may make the mistake again, but we will have a buffer now, an experience, a knowing. And so often, then we don't fall as low, and the next time it's easier to rise higher. Remember that. Remember that you are loved and guided, and that pathways to awareness is also the pathways to the awareness of your divine, the divine that is in everything, and the divine that has created you, my dear friends and students. So on this day, I wish you so very well, and I hope that this course and this lesson continues to help you. God bless.